been through in my own personal journey. Just to give you a bit of that overview, but before I begin to do that, I would like all of us to take a moment. This particular gathering that we have here and this particular festival is very, very close to my heart. And this is the first time that I have been actively participating in this. I have been part of it as an audience in the previous time, and I thoroughly enjoyed my experience. When I was an actor and a performer, a film producer, this thought used to always cross my mind: what is that I can do with my talent, with my position, to combine the two worlds? Is it possible to make content that can motivate, change people's lives, touch them in a deeper way? But I had different seeds fruitioning for me at that time. But I'm glad that I can be of some assistance to this particular festival at this time. So this actually is a matter of great rejoice for all of us. That somewhere in part of Delhi, few hundred people, if not at least a room full of people right now, have gathered together, and we're trying our level best to create a content, to promote some talent, promote films that can help change our minds in a deeper way. The very essence of Buddha Dharma. So I will urge all of us in the room, and with the request of my kind Bhantes here, if we can take a moment and reflect and rejoice. So if I can really ask us to just spend about 2-3 minutes in generating a good heart and rejoicing in our efforts. Yes, we have gone through some hiccups, and I've been noticing and hearing things, and which is normal, which is fine. So it's okay. It's good to have obstacles, and we know how we can rise above them. If everything is always going smooth as we want, then there is no really scope for genuine progress. So if I may please invite all of you for 2 minutes to really close your eyes, reflect on this moment, and rejoice in our collective efforts that we are putting together here.
It's reincarnate Tiku, so he's always, his activities, whatever he does, is always, there's always a bodhicitta in it. But I come from a film background. So I always wanted to, like when I was a kid, I always believed in storytelling. I always wanted to tell a story, but at that time I don't know what film is. So I grew up watching a lot of Hindi film because we didn't have our own film at that time. So our first feature film was made about 40 years ago. It's just one generation year old. So if we look at the storytelling, so the medium has changed. The storytelling has existed from a very ancient time, from forefathers telling story to the young ones in oral form, from very time the Shakyamuni Buddha in telling stories in a form of oral form. So as then slowly the storytelling form moved into scripting. So now in modern times, now the medium has moved into visuals. So I think it's our artists has to really grab that opportunity, to tell the world a better story. So my inspiration in making Prophecy is because I read the script, and then first thing when I saw the script, I liked it. I was like totally drawn into it. Then it was written by the reincarnate Rinpoche, and he was also a director. Then I didn't think second time. I just gave it into it. I was confident enough.
And for those who haven't seen this movie, I recommend wherever else you can find it, you must watch it. It will move you, deeply move you. Yeah, and it's not just about finding the reincarnation of a Lama that's passed away. It also speaks about gender equality and many other such things that are very relevant.
And welcome everyone for being here. And being from a technology background and of being a filmmaker, I just wanted to, and attending a Buddhist conference, I just wanted to start on a lighter note. Can anyone tell what kind of an email can achieve enlightenment first?
No attachment.
Right, an email which has no attachments. Yeah. So coming back to the question, so I had no, sorry, I had absolutely no idea about what Buddhism was or the teachings of Buddha before I made this film, and it all for me it was a personal journey. It started in 2016 when I got a call saying one of my closest friends in college passed away. He was one of my band members, and that made me reflect on what I'm doing with my life and whether I'm trying to achieve the things that I once wanted to achieve, or trying to travel or make films or do theater that was always passionate for me to do. And that's how I made a plan to start traveling and start making films, because I really loved doing that, and I was stuck in this corporate world for almost 4 years without doing anything that I love. And then when I was researching for places to visit and make a film, I read about Bodh Gaya, and there is something about this place that really captured my attention. I couldn't find many documentaries on the place. Most of them that I found were touristy kind of stuff, which were made by Indian government, which were 20, 30 years old, and there was not really much of a content on that subject. So I first visited the place in order to explore what Bodh Gaya was all about, and I was really mesmerized by the kind of vibes that I found there. And I visited place when there was this world healing prayer that was occurring, and there were 6,000 monks from all across the world who were in Bodh Gaya talking about their experiences, and I could communicate with each and every one of them, talk to them, understand their perspective of Buddhism, how Buddhism helped them in their lives and all. So I decided then and there that if I wanted to make a film, why not start with a place like this? And I went back again a second time within a month's time in order to make the film on Bodh Gaya.
To do that. But like for example, in our case, it was all paid for by public broadcasting, which comes out of money from the Ministry of Culture. So it used to be in the past that people had to pay for their own money, to be a member of a television, to get radio or television in the house. Sadly enough, it was turned over to politics, which means that if you have every 4 years no members, they always have to re-vote to keep it alive. And so I think, if you ever have ideas like that, don't do it on that way. I think, it would be really wonderful to start an online channel that would dispose all these films, because they've been made now for many, many years. I run also a festival, and my Buddhist festival is now on for 14 years. So after a while, these films are all available, but it does need an infrastructure, like an economic infrastructure to see it. But I would like to share that it is of importance, because we are living in this audiovisual time, and it is necessary in order to counterpoint the poison that is being, excuse that I use that word, but it's sometimes true that on television we see a lot of poisonous programming. And in order to counterpoint that, it is important that we have this medicine of Buddhist media to put out there. And I'm not talking necessarily that in every Buddhist film you have to see somebody in robes.
Yes. Yes.
But we are talking about, non-violent issues, and issues that get promoted via Buddhist media that empower people and that make people inspired to deal with everyday life.